I decided to study journalism at RGU. I think I've always been quite inquisitive. I'm kind of that annoying person that will maybe like ask why and not kind of give up until I've got an answer.
So I knew somebody who was already a journalist, and she said that she thought that my writing's really good, and she said you can speak for Britain. So she thought, why not do a journalism course?
And then I think just looking at all the courses that did journalism, I thought RGU had really good facilities.
It seemed like there was a lot of practical options on the course. Like it talked about being in like the TV studio, getting to use cameras, radio, and that appealed quite a lot. I liked the idea of having a more practical course.
And I actually seen that the journalism course at RGU is one of the best in Scotland. So I thought, well, it's local, so it's near where I live, so I wouldn't have to move away from family.
And then there was also the placement and study abroad option, very interesting. I liked the idea of being able to go study somewhere else, chance to see a different city. And then placement was like even more practical.
So the RGU placement scheme is in third year. Our second semester we were told that we could either do a 6-week, a 12-week or a year-long placement.
So the placement system is actually really good. So you curate your CV, well obviously you'll have a CV first, but they make sure you go over it and things like that, and then you get like to join the placement portal. And then obviously loads of different opportunities come up and you've got a lot of variety to pick from.
In my case, I wanted to do sports. So I went to Scottish Rugby through the Six Nations, worked as a communications intern, so that involved helping set press conferences up, working at the 2 Scotland home games for the Six Nations, interviewing players, people that are doing charity things for Scottish Rugby, writing articles and things like that. That was probably about the dream placement that I could have got, to be honest with you.
So my placement was DC Thomson, covering the P&J in Aberdeen and also the Courier in Dundee, working for business. And then I did that for 6 weeks and then changed on to features, and that was really exciting because I got a feel for both.
On my placement, I went to South Africa, doing media work for a children's charity, which was very like eye-opening, learning a very different like culture and sort of different situation to Scotland, which was very interesting.
And I feel like as each week went on, I got more and more confident, and that's when I started to realise, I think it was about halfway through, I was like, do you know what, I actually think I could be a journalist full time, because going into an environment that's very professional, it's very easy to think, oh, I don't think I feel like I'm not meant to be there. But everybody was so lovely in the office, and I think they all really like push you to do as well as you can. So coming away from placement, I've realised that a news day is probably the closest thing you're ever going to get to actually working professionally.
On a news day, it's basically an entire day where you work as like a team on your course to go out and find stories from that day to then, at the end of the day, create like a news bulletin.
And you get a certain deadline for it, and then you have to meet that deadline, and it can be anything, local news and stuff, and it's really exciting because you get to take the cameras out with you and go into into town and into the public. It's really nice to get a good feel for it, and it actually feels like you are a journalist for the day.
I'm no longer scared to pick the phone up to somebody. When I came in first year, I would always look to an email rather than picking the phone up. But now I think combination of news days, placement, the first thing I would do is pick up the phone. I feel like I'm a lot more confident.
Whether it's like going up, asking people for an interview, trying to sort it out, being in front of a camera, better at finding out what I want to find out when speaking to people.
My kind of year group, we'd all just come out the back end of COVID and not speaking to people for months. I just had lost all confidence, and I couldn't even speak to people. And with being in a course like this, you kind of have to get speaking to people. Like, you can't be a journalist if you can't talk to people.
I was definitely quite scared to do a lot of things, like picking up the phone and phoning people, or people phoning me. I was kind of a bit nervous to pick up and apprehensive about that. But yeah, I've definitely grown in confidence as well with speaking to people.
Every year that's passed by, my confidence has just grown more and more, and I feel like I'm the best version of myself now than I was at the beginning of the 4 years.